So I've got a lot of questions over the years. I mean, I've been making content for a little over 6 years now, and I've gotten a lot of questions, thousands and thousands of questions. But if I narrow it down to just the top most asked question, I know exactly what that is. I thought to myself, what if I made a video where I just answered the most commonly asked question? And I knew exactly what that question was. And I even know more now because now that Chris has been live streaming a lot when he's doing work here in the candle room, we have gotten this question a few times just in the live streams that he has done. So I knew exactly what that question was. And that question, the number one question that we get all the time in our YouTube videos is, where do you get your wick holders? Where do you get your wick presses? What is that? Just wondering exactly what we're using to prep our jars that we use for our candle business. So that's what I'm going to be going over in today's video. I'm going to show you close up everything that we use, where we get them, and then what we use them for. Also, I just want to say this video is not sponsored at all. I have been getting all of these materials from this Etsy shop for quite a while now. And he has sent us different prototypes and things throughout the years to just basically try out and just see what we think of it. So a lot of this stuff, actually, I think all of this stuff is custom. I'm pretty sure that's how it works because it's all 3D printed, or he's like making these presses and stuff is pretty cool. So the first thing that I want to talk about are these wick presses. So the cool thing about this Etsy shop and what we have been able to experience with these tools is that everything is customized to the jars and tins and just the products that we use. So these two right here, this was actually a prototype that he had sent us. I mean, we're talking years and years ago. This was the first one that he had ever sent me. So this one right here, and again, I had no idea about any of this. I was using cotter pins before I ever got these like wick setters that fit perfectly in the containers that we're working with and actually hold the wicks really well. So I thought this was really cool how he put like, you know, memory box on there, but you can see that there are two places right there where you can put the wicks in, and they have these little magnets on there so that it kind of holds down. And then you place it into the jar. You push down on both of these and then it sticks the wicks perfectly. You know, I say perfectly because it just depends on how far apart you want them. I do about an inch apart between the wicks from the center of each of the wick is what I prefer with double wicking. But these are, I mean, it saves an incredible amount of time besides just, instead of just going down and individually pressing down and just, you know, trying to get as even as possible. You know, there's one thing when it comes to using something like a wick holder. So this is something else that we've gotten from that Etsy shop too. So these are designed for the 13.5 ounce Cali jars for double wicking. And so there's one thing when you're getting the wicks set on top. So there's basically two different things that you need to think about when it comes to getting the wicks in place on where you want them. So you want them to be even and evenly spaced where you want them at the bottom when they're actually adhered to the bottom of the jar. But then you also want them to also be straight where you want them when you're, you know, trimming the wicks and having them lay on top. So obviously you want the wicks to be taut, but you also want it to be pretty even all the way down. You don't want it to kind of be wonky. You know, you don't want it to be wonky to where, you know, the bottom is close together and the top's further apart or vice versa. You really want it to be as even as possible. So this is really the best combination to have it be very, you know, pretty much exact every single time that we're prepping. We don't really even have to think about it because it's all just determined based on the wick press when we're actually adhering it to the bottom of the jar, and then also these wick holders as well. So we had also, after a little while, had gotten these made as well. So these ones right here, trying to just show you. So these are for our 8 ounce tins. So these are the 8 ounce tins, and I can show you right here. I don't want to get wax on these because these are somebody's candle. So these fit perfectly on here. I'll just show you real quick. So right there, that's where they fit. And then we also have our 13.5 ounce Cali jars. Now, depending on the manufacturing process, I mean, We have had issues with these jars not fitting well, but it was more of the jars inconsistencies than the wick presses, because these are all designed to fit perfectly with whatever jar you are giving to him to fit into. But something like this, so if I do the 13.5 ounce Cali jar, and then there's a little, there's a Post-it note in here. I'm not trying to mess anything up for Chris. So as you can see, it just looks like that. So it fits perfectly, you know, for the most part on all of these jars that we have. And it just makes the whole process really, really simple. I mean, it makes it really efficient. It makes it easier. I used to use cotter pins. I think the first thing I ever used to hold down my wicks, because I was trying to do, I think I tried to do a 3-wick candle. I mean, this was back in like 2019, early 2020. And I would use painter's tape. So I would use painter's tape over it and then cut holes into it to try to like get it to stay. It was not good. So something like this just makes it so much easier. And then some of the other things I wanted to show you was, so this is a press that we had made for our 7-ounce candles. So we don't use those too much anymore, but they're for the 9-ounce straight-sided jars. So again, you just put the wick right there, and then you press it. And this one, the spring on this one is actually really good. I think, again, this was like the first one I think he might have ever made, and the springs are really, really stiff, but we still use it anyways. And then, oh, this one right here. So this one was another one that was kind of like a prototype. Again, I don't know if any of this is available. I don't know the customizable situation. So I'm just letting you know where we get everything. I know he does have some available just to purchase as is. I don't know if he's doing any custom work right now, but you could always ask. But this right here, this actually allows for you to adjust it. Now, I'm not going to, but these will unscrew, and you can move it so that you can adjust it based on the size of your jar. So again, this was just like a prototype that he had been working on, but Chris uses this a lot. I think he mainly uses this one when wicking. I like to use this one when wicking, mainly because I don't know, I just find it a little bit easier. I always forget how to hold this because it kind of moves around a little bit, but this one, you know, is more stagnant. But he likes using that one. I like using this one because I find that as of recently, our jars have been more consistent, so it's been easier to, you know, wick with this one. The only thing is this one, it does have pretty stiff springs, but I'm sure we could probably honestly change that. But yeah, pretty cool having that, just having a custom press to get everything wicked, because obviously we double wick everything. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was this right here. So this is kind of like an upside down press, so that when we're wicking our 8-ounce 10s, which you've probably seen Chris do in the live streams recently. I can't do it because there's wax in there, but you basically just push it down. So you put the wicks, you load the wicks on right there, and then you push down onto it. And I actually like that. I think it'd be cool to have something like this for the 13.5 ounce Cali jars, because I just feel like it would be, I don't know, I feel like it'd be easier. Just putting it upside down, pressing down on it, and then pulling it off and it's ready to go. Not to say that this is hard, but I feel like after a while, you know, pushing it down on your hands, it kind of, you know, I mean, it definitely starts to get a little sore after a while. So I do like this one a lot for wicking the 10s. I actually think that's cool to put it upside down. And again, it just makes everything so much faster. And then before I forget, because I knew there was something else I wanted to show you. So this is the little depth thing that we use when we make candles. So this is what we put on the side of these ones right over here. We don't need it for the 10s because those have their own lines, thankfully. But this right here, you just put on the side of the candle, and then it lets you know basically by when you fill it up and the wax touches this, you know that you have filled it up enough. We have had these for so long. Chris had actually cut off where I needed it to be. So I would fill up one candle, and then I had marked it, and then he was able to just cut it off right where we needed it to be. And we have 2 of those. So there's another one over there. But yeah, we've had all of these for years, probably 4+ years. Obviously, they are super sturdy and they're going to last forever. So yeah, that is my #1 asked question on my YouTube channel. So I really hope that you got some value out of today's video. If you're looking for wick holders, wick presses, anything like that, check out his Etsy shop. Again, I don't know exactly what he's offering right now, but I thought I would make a video because I know that so many people have questions on this. But with that, I'm going to end today's video right here, and I will see you in my next one.